Let's see how long it lasts. 31%. All right, we are live again. Srimad Bhagavatam. We talked a lot yesterday about how important submissive hearing was. Right, Parth? You remember how important it was? But that's that's part of our process. That's one of the main entrance points of the process. There's not going to be much else we can do without this first process of regular submissive hearing. Not just, I'll hear on the weekend, I'll hear maybe 2 times a week. That's better than nothing, but we should hear every day, regularly. It should be part of our process. It's not like you guys should come here to hear me. I have nothing really special to offer anybody, actually. But what I'm trying to do is give you something that is worth hearing, that I've heard, and great teachers have shared with me, and our Guru Parampara really wanted to share. And this is the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the perfection, as we're learning, of Vyasadeva in his full maturity after being enlightened by Narada Muni on what's really going to give him and everybody satisfaction, is the conclusion of Bhakti Yoga, or pure devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. This is our process. He's enlightening us here. Prabhupada, the last verse we read was, simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Also it said, the material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him or unnecessary to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. So this is the solution, everything. But the mass of people do not know this, and they will not know this. This isn't for the mass of people, for this is for a very small group who can actually perfect their life. This world is meant for the imperfected beings. The large majority of the people of this world are meant to suffer the material miseries. That is what they're supposed to do. It's good for them. They need to do this. Their soul needs to do this. Just like you needed to do it for so long. But now, if you realize what this world is, and what really is worth pursuing, and that's the Supreme Lord and the relationship between you and the Supreme Lord, you become one of the special people that can do it. Please, try. You don't even have to have so much confidence in yourself, but try. Just by trying, you're guaranteed success, by being sincere. That's the one thing that we need, is sincerity. Who's sincere, though? I know I'm not. How about you? So we'll see. And therefore, the learned of Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, which is in relation to the Supreme Truth. So this is meant to give us hope, give us the solution, and he's meditating on, he's bringing it into his existence right now. The sages are at Naimisharanya are going over how great this Bhagavatam is. So, without further ado, before I go any further, we'll chant some prayers. Megan, I'm going to give this to you, and you can figure out what to do with it.
Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nar Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasa Dev, the author. Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantasto Bhadrani Vedhanati Suhitsatam.
Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee. Cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
By regular attendance in the classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
I'll probably keep it short. One, because Meghna has to go, and then two, my mouth hurts. So, but the good news is I found out what my condition is, finally. I have candida overgrowth in my mouth, which is not pleasant at all, but it can be solved by stopping eating sweet things. So this is Krishna is forcing upon me a new vrat for Kartik, and that's to stop eating sweet things, including fruits, which I love. Half of my meal is fruits every day.
And what will you eat, Prabhu?
What?
What will you eat?
I'll eat probably squash and pumpkin seeds for some time.
No vegetables?
My wife gives some greens and things. Not today, no vegetables, but other days I'll have vegetables. So anyway, I have to keep it short. So we did a recap let's hear further. This is going to solve all of our problems. Vyasadeva is doing the ultimate devotional service here. So, let's begin. Text 8. Sasamhitam Bhagavatim
Samhitam Bhagavatim
Kritvanu Chatmajam
Vidvanukramya Chatmajam
Shukam Adhyapayamasa
Shukam Adhyapayamasa
Nivritti Nidatamuni
Vritti Niratamuni
Saha that Samhitam Vedic literature Bhagavatim in relation with the personality of Godhead Kritva having done Anukramya by correction and repetition Cha and Atmajam his own son Shukam Shukadeva Goswami Adhyapayam Asa taught Nivritti path of self-realization Niratam engaged Muni the sage. The great sage Vyasadeva, after compiling the Srimad Bhagavatam and revising it, taught it to his own son, Sri Shukadeva Goswami, who was already engaged in self-realization. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentation on the Brahma Sutras, compiled by the same author. This Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra is meant for those who are already engaged in self-realization. Srimad Bhagavatam is so made that one becomes at once engaged in the path of self-realization simply by hearing the topics. Although it is especially meant for the Paramahamsas, or those who are totally engaged in self-realization, it works into the depths of the hearts of those who may be worldly men. Worldly men are all engaged in sense gratification, but even such men will find in this Vedic literature a remedial measure for their material diseases. Shukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul from the very beginning of his birth, and his father taught him Srimad Bhagavatam. Amongst mundane scholars, there is some diversity of opinion as to the date of compilation of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is, however, certain from the text of the Bhagavatam that it was compiled before the disappearance of King Parikshit and after the departure of Lord Krishna. When Maharaj Parikshit was ruling the world as the king of Bharatavarsha, he chastised the personality of Kali. According to revealed scriptures and astrological calculation, the age of Kali is in its 5,000th year, roughly. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled not less than 5,000 years ago. Mahabharata was compiled before Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Puranas were compiled before Mahabharata. That is an estimation of the date of compilation of the different Vedic literatures. The synopsis of Srimad Bhagavatam was given before the detailed description under the instruction of Narada. Srimad Bhagavatam is the science for following the path of Nivritti Marg. The path of Pravritti Marg was condemned by Narada. That path is the natural inclination for all conditioned souls. The theme of the Srimad Bhagavatam is the cure of the materialistic disease of the human being, or stopping completely the pangs of material existence. So, just a little review for you guys. Pravritti Marg, what is that?
The path of sense enjoyment.
Yes, the path of sense enjoyment. This is the tendency of all conditioned souls to try and enjoy the senses. And that can take, actually, for instance, the most voracious sense is the tongue. It just wants to taste and taste and taste. That's why Krishna is taking away my taste right now. Because he actually loves me and he wants to purify me. But I need help, so he does it by force for me. But the tendency to enjoy through all the senses, through the eyes we want to enjoy, through the ears we want to enjoy, through the tongue especially we want to taste and enjoy, skin, touch, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals are the prime things that really want to enjoy. So by good fortune, we actually offer our food to the Lord, and He purifies us by eating this food. But one of the purifications is He makes us realize this, even the sense enjoyment through the food, which I'm very much experiencing right now, has to go. If you really want, loosely it was told you can eat your way back to Godhead. And loosely that's true, but actually there in that you see the path of our Goswamis, and even what Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas did. They simplified, and they actually they took the Nivriti Marg path, which is the path opposite of sense gratification, which is self-realization. So that's what's going to be recommended in Bhagavatam. Not to enjoy the senses, but to actually disengage the senses materially and only engage the senses spiritually. And what Prabhupada has told many people, that means the tendencies of the living entity in these material bodies, which is to eat, sleep, mate, and defend, will also eventually go to zero, but with enough advancement. And so the more we eat, the more we sleep, the more we are inclined to mate, and the more we want to acquire things and defend those things, is the less spiritually advanced we are. And the less we are inclined to do those things, not artificially, but actually you're engaged so much spiritually that you're not like, for instance, our Goswamis. They slept for an hour and a half a night. They would eat like a chickpea or two every few days. They were like crazy renounced. But it's because they were so full of bliss in Krishna consciousness that they didn't need anything on the Pravriti Marg at all to, hold them over. Or, they were completely engaged on the Nivriti Marg. But they were completely immersed in Krishna prema. But it's not artificial. You can't just, all right, I'll reduce all my eating to zero this week, or all my sleeping to zero this week. I mean, we see actually a lot of you guys, when you try and come here, you're just like, all right, I won't sleep, I'll stay up all night, and I don't know, because you guys have crazy habits as young people. But then it's just, you can't sustain it for long. You gotta take a nap, go do this or that. It's a gradual building process where you naturally begin assimilating better habits into your life and making advancement. So anyway, this is the Nivriti Marg path. And we're trying to get out of this Pravriti Marg path, which is the natural inclination for the conditioned soul. Enjoy in the senses. So we have a prescription. Like for instance, instead of just reaching into the pantry and enjoying, okay, now we got to prepare it all, we got to offer it, we got to do a process. But still the tendency is enjoy after we do the process. But this is beginning to curb the process. But eventually, the desires will become simpler and simpler and simpler. And the Lord may help you. Like me, He's like, all right, I'm going to make your tongue really hurt when you try and enjoy. And so that's like what I'm experiencing right now. Like any sense of enjoyment through the Pravriti Marg, even if it is prasadam, Krishna says no. You for at least right now, for me. But this is what the Bhagavatam actually recommends. It's the path of renounced life, not artificial renunciation. Renunciation naturally accumulated through actually love for God, and you have no need for sense gratification anymore. It actually becomes distasteful. So, you burnt your tongue?
No. This is really good. I looked at Martin and smiled, and you just said rid of sense tongue enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I smiled to him, you said the statement, get away from the sense enjoyment of tongue.
Yeah.
So we will laugh on that, because
No.
as soon as I admired what I just tasted,
It's very tasty, bro.
Yes.
I know what he's saying.
Yes. So this is the.
so right away you came to
This is very good. It's you're tasting it and you're having realization that, oh look, just see how
Yeah,
captivated I am by this
It
thing.
was perfect
Yes.
section. That's why
Yes.
we had a clap on that.
So yes, this is. But at the same time, our process is to offer prasadam and give. Actually, the reason prasadam is so popular because it's the bridge from Pravriti Marg to Nivriti Marg. Like, for instance, like we were talking to Holly the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just here for the food," in the Bhagavatam class, and that's great because actually, that's how Prabhupada got so many people to become self-realized souls. Is in the beginning just having these amazing Sunday love feasts and offering that food to the Lord. And then when they take that, like yesterday, there were so many people so happy to eat burfis that Michael made. They were apparently they looked really good. Actually, I didn't taste one, but they looked incredible. But everyone who took the burfi was like, "Oh my God, this is so good," But this is perfect for them because they're so lost on the path of Pravriti Marg. So there's something that's relatable to them, but it's spiritually infused. So that's what prasadam actually kind of is. And then, but as you advance in your prasadam seva, you may find that your taste for prasadam may more and more evolve more towards the nivriti marg rather than the pravriti marg. And that's one example. There's many, for instance, grahastha life, is a potential for licensed sense enjoyment to some degree or another. Namely sex life is present. But if you actually do it the certain way, and pregnancy is there, and you conceive a child, naturally that whole process will, going through that every time you engage in sex life, you're less and less inclined for sex life. You're like, oh man, my sex life means I got to take care of a whole child. Not only that, taking care of the woman as she goes through the pregnancy process is not from what I've heard, it's not a process that's so easy for the woman. I don't have personal experience. So, like personal experience. But anyway. So anyway, this is actually, this is how offering these things to Krishna, eventually they teach you, hey, Nivriti Marg, this is nice. So you'll all learn a lot of these things firsthand as you go through the material world. As long as you have Bhagavatam as your guiding ship, if you try and walk your own way, you'll just get lost in Pravriti Marg, no problem. We've got lifetimes of being lost in Pravriti Marg. That's what every conditioned soul is doing in the material world. They're just trying to enjoy their bodily senses, never understanding that it has nothing to do with them. That it's an illusion, and it's an attachment that isn't even them. Thinking I'm this body, and I'm the senses of this body, and I'm the mind of this body. But these are all illusions, actually. You're a spirit soul. And you'll actually be nourished doing devotional service. That's what the spirit souls, that's their main source of food. That's their main source of nourishment, is devotional service. And this is the process that Narada just gave to Vyasadeva, and this is what Vyasadeva is going to share. So I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit there, but let's keep going. Shaunako vacha Savai nivriti nirata Sarvatro pekshako muni Kasyava brahatim etam Atmarama samabhyasat Shaunako vacha Sri Shaunaka asked, Saha, he, Vai, of course, Nivriti, on the path of self-realization, Nirata, always engaged, Sarvatra, in every respect, Upekshakaha, indifferent, Muni, sage, Kasya, for what reason? Va, or, Brahatim, vast, Etam, this, Atma Aramaha, one who is pleased in himself, Samabhyasat, undergo the studies. Sri Shaunaka asks Sutta Goswami, Sri Shukadeva Goswami was already on the path of self-realization, and thus he was pleased with his own self. So why did he take the trouble to undergo the study of such a vast literature? Oh, we're going to get to one of the most important verses in all of the Bhagavatam right now. For the people in general, the highest perfection of life is to cease from material activities and be fixed on the path of self-realization. Those who take pleasure in sense enjoyment, or those who are fixed in material bodily welfare work, are called karmis. Out of thousands and millions of such karmis, this is from the Bhagavad Gita, one may become an Atmaram by self-realization, or like a Jnani. Atma means self, and Arama means to take pleasure. Everyone is searching after the highest pleasure, but the standard of pleasure of one may be different from the standard of another. Therefore, the standard of pleasure enjoyed by the karmis is different from that of the Atmaramas. The Atmaramas are completely indifferent to material enjoyment in every respect. Srila Shukadeva Goswami had already attained that stage, and still he was attracted to undergo the trouble of studying the great Bhagavatam literature. This means that Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study, even for the Atmaramas, who have surpassed all the studies of Vedic knowledge. So we're going to get to one of the most important verses of the whole Bhagavatam. And it's so important that Lord Chaitanya described this verse in 61 different ways. This verse was the verse that he enlightened Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya with. And he explained it in so many vast ways. And also, this is going to actually give superiority to the Bhagavatam of any other Vedic path of self-realization. This verse is very important. So I guess prepare. Oh, that means the purport is going to be very comprehensive. Yes, maybe we'll start with it tomorrow too. Sutta Uvacha Atmaramascha Munayo Nirgrantha Apyurukrame Korvantya Haitukim Bhaktim Itambhuta Guno Hari Sutta Uvacha Sutta Goswami said Atmaramaha, those who take pleasure in Atma, the spirit self, generally spirit self. Cha, also. Munayaha, sages. Nirgrantha, freed from all bondage. Api, in spite of. Urukrame, unto the great adventure. Korvanti, do. Ahaitukim, unalloyed. Bhaktim, devotional service. Itambhuta, such wonderful. Guna, qualities. Hari, of the Lord. All different varieties of Atmaramas, or those who take pleasure in Atma, or the spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities, and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. This is pretty much assuring that the path of bhakti is above the path of moksha. This is the proof, actually, at least that the Bhagavatam offers, that the path of moksha, or becoming liberated, we see examples of liberated souls like Shukadeva Goswami, the four Kumaras, and others, take to the path of bhakti even in a liberated state, completely free from all material sufferings and pangs. Completely in the Atmarama state. Now, Prabhupada's going to explain. Let's start. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained this Atmarama shloka very vividly before his chief devotee, Srila Sanatana Goswami. He points out 11 factors in the shloka, namely 1. Atmarama, 2. Munayaha, 3. Nirgrantha, 4. Api, 5. Cha, 6. Urukrama, 7. Korvanti, 8. Ahaitukim, 9. Bhaktim, 10. Itambhuta Gunaha, and 11. Hari. According to the Vishva Prakash dictionary, Sanskrit dictionary, there are 7 synonyms for the word Atmarama, which are as follows. Oh, we're going to go through it. Prabhupada's given us the whole thing. We'll go for it. 1. Brahman, the absolute truth. 2. Body. 3. Mind. 4. Endeavor. 5. Endurance. 6. Intelligence. And 7. Personal habits. So these could all be under Atmaram. The word munaya refers to one. This is all in the Sanskrit dictionary. The word munaya refers to 1. Those who are thoughtful. 2. Those who are grave and silent. 3. Ascetics. 4. The persistent. 5. Mendicants. 6. Sages. And 7. Saints. The word nirgrantha conveys these ideas. One who is liberated from nescience. 2. One who has no connection with scriptural injunction, who is freed from the obligation of the rules and regulations mentioned in the revealed scriptures, like ethics, Vedas, philosophy, psychology, and metaphysics. In other words, the fools, illiterate, urchins, etc., who have no connection with regulative principles. 3. A capitalist, and also 4. One who is penniless. These are definitions of nirgrantha. According to the Shabdakosha dictionary, the affix ni is used in the sense of 1. Certainty, 2. Counting, 3. Building, and 4. Forbiddance. And the word grantha is used in the sense of wealth, thesis, vocabulary, etc. If you go through the Chaitanya Charitamrita, or even teachings of Lord Chaitanya, if you go through teachings of Lord Chaitanya, this explanation of Sanatana Goswami will be explained in detail. Prabhupada's going to try and do it in one purport here, but he's just giving you a synopsis. If you really want to see all the different meanings that you can get from the Atmaram verse, actually every Bhagavatam verse has so many different meanings, and a Sanskrit scholar, or a devotional scholar like Lord Chaitanya, can reveal these type of meanings. But this is very deep. But basically, the conclusion of all of these meanings is that bhakti is the supreme, and that we should take to bhakti. This is our only great hope. And it's so much so that the Atmaramas of the highest level, like Shukadeva Goswami and the 4 Kumaras, who were the firstborn beings of this world, the 4 Kumaras, that is, other than Brahma, they took to this path. And this is the recommended path that all liberated souls should also take. Because it even has something to offer, even when you're completely free from material desires. Completely fixed on the nivritti path. The devotional path still is attractive. So, for those who have the highest sense of pleasure, which is pleasure of the Atma, pleasure of the self, even they are attracted to Krishna. Even they are attracted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. So, I hope you also find that attraction. We're not even close to self-realized souls. We're so attached to worldly pleasures. We're so attached to sense gratification. If you're at all attracted to the opposite gender, if you're at all attracted to good tasting food, which is probably everybody, done, we're all finished there. If you're attracted to any pleasures of the material world, you're not even close to an Atmarama. But even if you were an Atmarama, this would become even more attractive, the bhakti path. So anyway, actually, he's saying all these different meanings, like a nirgrantha, it's talking about one who is liberated, like someone who's liberated from ignorance, but also one who has no connection with scriptural injunction, like the fools and the lowest people of society also are nirgranthas. A capitalist is also a nirgrantha, and one who is poor is also a nirgrantha. So all of these people actually get the benefit of bhakti. So it's actually what's being explained in this verse, that everybody is, going to benefit from bhakti. Everyone takes and should take to this path. So anyway, the word urukrama means one whose activities are glorious. Krama means step. This word urukrama specifically indicates the Lord's incarnation as Vaman, who covered the whole universe by immeasurable steps. Lord Vishnu is powerful, and his activities are so glorious that he has created the spiritual world by his internal potency and the material world by his external potency. By his all-pervading features, he is everywhere present as the supreme truth. And in his personal feature, he is always present in the transcendental abode of Goloka Vrindavan, where he displays his transcendental pastimes in all variegatedness. His activities cannot be compared to anyone else's, and therefore the word Urukrama is just applicable to him only. So Urukram is a name for Vaman Dev. Krama means step. I don't know if he mentioned what Uru means. But Vaman was the one with 3 steps who conquered the whole. He's also called Trivikram. He conquered the 3 worlds with 3 steps. So this is Vaman. I actually have the good fortune of being born on Vaman Dwadashi. That's my Vedic birthday. So does Jiva Goswami.
The first blessing was from there.
Yes. Somehow or other in this life, I was meant to have some connection with Vaman Dev and Jiva.
He actually covered it in 2 steps.
Yes, he covered in 2 steps, and then the third he put on Bali Maharaj's head. We're going to end here because it's going to be too long, and this is such an important verse that we should probably do it tomorrow too. But maybe we have a minute. Is there anything from you guys? Parth. Good.
So, Atmaramas or self-realized personalities, they don't have the taste to enjoy things because they're completely devoted.
They don't have the taste to enjoy material things because they know that they're illusory. But go on.
But they still have the appreciation for things that are offered to Lord, like having some prasadam and I don't know, maybe.
Well, an Atmaramas at the highest level enjoy prasadam, but actually a neophyte Atmarama would be like a Jnani yogi, or even a lot of Mayavadis, a lot of these, impersonal meditators, they actually can become Atmarama. They can be completely self-satisfied in their Nirvishesha meditations or Shunyavadi meditations. And Prabhupada came to smash that philosophy, which is what we chant, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Tarine. And he came to remove this illusion that this is the highest step. Pretty much the Purushartha moksha is the topmost thing. Because moksha, I've given this analogy before, it's just like getting out of debt. Debt is bad, yes, we get it, debt is bad. But having $0 isn't, from a mundane perspective of being a capitalist, okay, having $0 is not very impressive. If you would tell me, hey, I have $0, I'd be like, congratulations, you can't do anything. But, to actually profit, go deeply profit, the path is bhakti. So the Atmaramas, they've achieved getting out of debt, which we're all in this world. Being attracted to the Pravriti Marg. Every attraction and going deeper into the Pravriti Marg through the senses is taking you deeper into debt. But the devotee is getting more and more out of debt. Well, we're trying to learn to get out of debt, to at least come to the Atmaram stage, completely be self-satisfied. That's someone beyond any type of lamentation or desire. But then, even they will become attracted to bhakti. That's going to be the conclusion. So, yes, even they will be attracted to the process of offering things to the Lord and honoring only that food stuff which is offered to the Lord, that the Lord has tasted. So things, like the process of prasadam, the process of all the 64 arts of devotional service, especially the 9 main processes: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. And of those 9, especially the 3 main processes, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam. So the Atmaramas will become attracted by this. And that's what actually happened was the Shukadev Goswami, he just Shravanam, he heard the singing of, I think, the pastimes of Putana, Krishna's killing of Putana. And he was so attracted by how merciful Krishna was on the killing of Putana that he ran. When he was born, he ran away from his father, and he ran, even though his father was a great sage, he wanted no material connection at all. So he's like, just because you're my father, even though you're another great sage, I don't want any connection with you. I'm running from you. So he ran from his father,
Shukadeva Goswami, right?
Shukadeva Goswami. But then what happened was, Vyasadeva, he's like, well, no, I wanted to teach him Bhagavatam. He has to learn Bhagavatam. He'll greatly benefit from Bhagavatam. But Shukadeva was like, no, he ran from his father. He said, I'm not having any worldly connection at all. So then he sent his disciples, he taught some disciples the Bhagavatam and told them which verses of the Bhagavatam to recite, and in specific, I think it was the Putana verses. And he was so attracted by what he heard, by hearing the mercy of Krishna to give liberation, not only liberation, but give the highest abode to Putana, even though she tried to kill him. But because she also took him as a mother, he saw that instead of seeing her wickedness, and he gave her the highest destination. And so he was so attracted by hearing that he started running towards those disciples and eventually agreed to learn the Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyas, which is very interesting. But you see also with the four Kumaras, they went to the Vaikuntha planets. And they were also just that which was done in the Archanam process of offering Tulsi to the feet of Vishnu. The Tulsi buds that were offered at Vishnu's feet, and once they touch Vishnu's feet, they get a very special type of aroma that even attracted the four Kumaras, who any type of material aroma does not attract them. They've completely conquered any type of material pleasure. They know it's all fleeting, but they were completely conquered by that which was offered to Vishnu. Why? Because that's Sat. That's real truth. So we're trying to offer something to the Lord. We're trying to actually offer prasadam. What Krishna accepts, Prabhupada made some special consolation for us, and maybe on his behalf, Krishna will accept it. But, it's mentioned, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions that only one who's a Lakshana, I will accept from them. A Lakshana means, it's a term for a wealthy person who has like 100,000 of a certain amount of wealth. But the wealth he was talking about was who chants the holy name of the Lord 100,000 times daily. That's 58 rounds a day. Only that person I will accept from. So our acharyas, and especially Srila Prabhupada, are coming down to our level. We're so lost in Pravriti Marg, and he's coming down to our level and trying to give us the process to, one, get out of Pravriti Marg, get somewhere towards Nivriti Marg, but then hopefully actually take to bhakti, which is, we think, yes, we're doing bhakti, I'm chanting, I'm doing this, but actually what's going on internally, there's not any, as Rupa Goswami will pray, and Rupa Goswami had so much more bhakti than we do. He says, I don't even have a sesame seed worth of bhakti. So this is very difficult. It's not easy to do bhakti. It's easy to, approach bhakti, but it's not actually easy. Krishna only awards bhakti to the topmost, someone who's topmost eager to attain him. Then Krishna will award bhakti. He might show you how others practice bhakti, and he might give you some motions how you can run and also attempt to practice bhakti. But to actually give you bhakti, that's so rare. That is so rare. Don't think this is cheap and easy. So yes, we offer prasad. The Atmaramas might be attracted, they are attracted to prasad. But if the Lord actually accepts it, then the Atmarama will accept. Like, for instance, the Lord, the four Kumaras, the prasadam of the tulsi leaves that were offered to Vishnu and he accepted, that became very attractive to them. That was what was very attractive to them. Now, I'm not saying, you see saintly Vaishnavas, and especially more, saintly than ourselves, it will be their great blessing if they want to honor something that we offer. So we should try and serve more advanced Vaishnavas than ourselves. And if they accept it, then we know that, yes, we're closer to Krishna accepting it. So like this, we can't expect from where we're at that Krishna will accept our offering. We just have not enough to not enough to offer, But we can expect Krishna's mercy, and even if he doesn't fully accept it, that he will get us closer to actually being able to practice bhakti. We should always know that. But that's why we learned about this on Sunday. The two things that allow us to attain Krishna or bind Krishna, to conquer Krishna, is what? Krishna, well, one, it's got to be the mercy of Krishna, Krishna Kripa, but how do we achieve Krishna Kripa?
By your own personal endeavor towards him.
Yes, by your own bhajan or personal endeavor towards Krishna. So by your personal endeavor, Krishna will maybe give you a chance and give you that mercy. But, you see, by staying away from you, this is what increases, this is what he does to the gopis, and he's showing how, our whole mood, our whole Krishna consciousness ultimately will culminate in the mood of separation. We're realizing we don't have Krishna. And that's not easy to attain Krishna. Yes, it's very easy to begin the process of how to attain Krishna. So you might get blissful in that. But then eventually you will likely begin lamenting, realizing, I don't have Krishna. I want Krishna. I need Krishna. And then anything else will become very distasteful. Any other pravriti marg type of thing. So anyway, I don't want to go too long on this. We'll go deeper. But kind of a mixed answer to your question. Yes, the Atmaramas will be very attracted to offering of foodstuff to Krishna. But they also, it depends on, how pleasing that offering is. Because, for instance, I'll give you an example. A lot of times we travel, go to different places, and some devotees, just because they're a little bit more, neophyte, they don't have a very, paka offering standard. They might offer, they might mix the food that they eat with and try and offer to Krishna, things like that. So, I'm not so on, but I know also that there are many others that, they wouldn't try to accept so many offerings from them. But Lord Chaitanya, for instance, he showed how even a sannyasi who was indulging in women, a supposed sannyasi indulging in women, wine, and meat, he even accepted fruit and milk. Those two things we should accept from anybody, even though they don't have such a paka offering standard, because they're considered pure. But now even today the milk is all adulterated. But if you were to somehow get just milk from the cow, you could accept from anybody, which is why we accept the raw milk from the nice Mennonite people down there, even though they also, on the same hand, they go and kill the cows later, some of the cows later. Not nearly to the extent of the factory farmers who are doing abominable things. But anyway, so if you can actually prepare something that is pleasing to a more advanced soul, then you're on the right track, like that. So you can't accept that Krishna will accept anything from you, from how far away you are from Krishna. You can't accept anything, that he'll accept anything from you. But what you can accept is that maybe Krishna's representative will accept something. Maybe Krishna's devotee or his exalted Vaishnava, someone dear to Krishna, will accept something. And then through their strength, then Krishna will be pleased. That's why we, in our offering process, I don't know if you know this, but we offer everything to the gurus first. Because we're telling the gurus, please make this offering on behalf of us. I'm not qualified to make this offering. I'll never be qualified to make this offering. But by your mercy, from what you've achieved, Krishna may accept. So please, I'm offering this to you. And then we're praying that the gurus accept our offering and make that offering to Krishna. Because they're lakshanas. They can offer something to Krishna. So like this. So if we follow that offering standard, we have that understanding. The Atmaramas will be very attracted. If you come here, we invite exalted devotees to come here, and when they accept that which we have offered, Yes, they're very attracted. Um, like that. But I don't want to give you a simple answer. I want to give you a more comprehensive answer. But devotees are so merciful. So if you give sufficient endeavor to please them and Krishna, they'll of course accept. So they're very attracted. They're attracted by your bhakti, not the actual material thing. You know, you could get, like for instance, Krishna in Mahabharata, he went to go to the the Kuru capital, Hastinapur, and he came as a messenger, as an ambassador for peace, for the war, to not have the war. So Duryodhana wanted him to stay in his brother Dushasana's special palace. It was like the finest guest palace you could have, and he offered him the finest foodstuffs, like the best thing that you could ever have. And Krishna was like, "You do not please me at all, Duryodhana. I will not eat here." And he told him, "We'll, if you hear my message and we come to an agreement, we can talk. But I will not stay with you, and I will not take any of this foodstuff, even though it's the finest foodstuff available to offer." But Vidura, he went to go stay with Vidura instead. And Vidura is a great devotee. But before Vidura got home, it was Vidura's wife who was there. And so she greeted Krishna. And she was so much in ecstasy that Krishna had come, that she's trying to prepare things to give to Krishna. But she was so much in a stupor that Krishna is here. She started peeling kela, which are bananas. Started peeling bananas and throwing the bananas aside and feeding Krishna the banana peels. But because there was so much bhakti in Vidura's wife, Vidurani, he started eating the banana peels and he loved it. He loved it because he didn't care about the actual, "Oh, this is very nice, this is high quality." No, he wanted the bhakti. This is what it was. And the bhakti is nothing to do with, "I'm going to enjoy this. This is for my enjoyment." The bhakti is solely, this is for your enjoyment. This is advancement in bhakti. Not all the rituals, not I can do this, I can make nice offerings, look at what I could do with my hands, look what I can do, I got a thread, or look, I chant mantras. No, Krishna doesn't care for any of that. It's the bhakti. It's not a ritual. Even Ekadashi, we can force ourselves to go through fasting and this and that and the other, but if we don't cultivate bhakti in the Ekadashi, it's useless. Now, Ekadashi itself is infused with bhakti. Out of bhakti, one would observe Ekadashi, but if you think it's just a way to get material things, you'll get useless fruits and results from Ekadashi. Actually, Krishna will cheat you and actually give you those things. We don't want that. He wants bhakti. Even so much so where he'd rather eat banana peels with bhakti than the finest feast offered by someone not with bhakti. So like this. The Atmarams are attracted because this even attracts Krishna. And if it can attract Krishna, it'll attract everyone because Krishna is the source of all things. That's how attractive bhakti is. But not like the act of offering. That if there's bhakti behind it, very attractive. But not the ritual. You get it? You get it? Good. You get it? All right. Enough for today. Meghna, you have to go. Why don't you take some prasadam and then we'll take you back. Hare Krishna, thank you guys so much. And we'll continue on.